Okay. So in our last session, everyone slept through the night pretty soundly and fairly reasonably until you heard a clamoring commotion, and you were greeted by 3 knights of Solamnia. Now, Tarlin, you were the only one who was truly accommodating and left your room, and you were greeted with violence. You were thrown to the ground, but you got the last laugh because you were able to scare away using your magic the spiky-haired guy with the giant greatsword. These 3 demanded answers and indicated that there was a murder, and they were the ones in charge. Becklin Uthviharin quickly emerged, asking that you cooperate. And eventually you discover that 50 mercenaries had been killed. The 50 mercenaries that belonged to her friend, Cudgel Ironsmile, who was also friends with Isbin Greenshield. After some conversation, you could determine that Becklin was scared, afraid, anxious, and felt completely out of control. And Aethelflid, you took a blanket and wrapped it around her as she was struggling. And it was a very humane moment where you comforted someone who was truly lost. After a moment, you all make your way outside. Now, Aethelflid, you walk the city's perimeter, and you are able to determine that there are 3 interesting points where there could be either defenses or an offensive attack. And that's through the gate to the north, as well as the docks to the south. And then you notice that there is a catapult contraption to the northwest. Now, while you are doing this, Tarlin and Calixto see a cart of bodies being dragged through the city. Tarlin, you complete a few of your traditional ritual rites, and you are greeted by a spooky, creepy wizard who is offering you this army of the undead. These are soldiers dressed like mercenaries, and the mercenaries are like, "Oh yeah, it's great, let it hang out, being undead." You are skeptical, and as you begin to ask further questions, you are snapped to, and you come back to reality. Calixto, you look for Aethelflid, and as you do, you both find yourself at the ruins that are fairly close by. Let me find that imagery real quick. So this is Thornwall Keep. And at Thornwall Keep, you find Thane, who is a gnome who is fairly annoying and loves flinging. He introduces you to his contraption, the Gnome Flinger. The Gnome Flinger is certainly not currently well designed for defense of the city, but you feel like with a little elbow grease it could certainly be. You put your Steel Defender in the Gnome Flinger, and the Steel Defender flies through the sky. And you go in search of the Steel Defender. As you do, you find yourself on the cliffs of the city. And you notice that there is a dead body towards the bottom that the Steel Defender leads you to. This is a human being. Now, it's worth mentioning also that the Steel Defender had a mask that looked exactly like Merchant Gort in his mouth. The clothing, the adornments, everything would indicate that Merchant Gort would be laying in front of you had he his normal cat head. As Tarlin has gone to the docks and is preparing the funeral rites for Cudgel's men as well as Isbin Greenshield, the 3 of you, Jesse, Calixto, and Aethelflid, you are also in the process of burying somebody after, of course, looting the corpse first. Now, it is worth mentioning, Aethelflid, that you did feel compelled to make sure Calixto was okay with this, as well as Jesse. Like, you guys cool? Let's just take a shit. And you find a very inauspicious key in his person. From there, you determine that it would be smart to find a library in town, do a little research, but first you want to attend the funeral, where currently Tarlin is. Jesse, as a kindred does, has ran away, and the two of you are walking through the city as we speak, on your way to the docks where Tarlin currently is, and this funeral is to be conducted. What would you guys like to do? It is also worth mentioning that there is a captive, not a captive, but somebody who's being held currently, who was one of the generals in Cudgel's mercenary army. You don't know anything beyond that, but you do know that he's around somewhere if you wanted to gain some information. And then there is a library. There's also, of course, the ceremony upcoming on the docks. The fair that was originally planned has been canceled. And the funeral, which was supposed to be held days from now, has been pushed forward.
How much time until the funeral?
If you have something that's reasonably short, you're certainly welcome to do that. You know that it is approaching. There's supposed to be a little reception ahead of time before the ceremonies actually begin. So if there was something you wanted to do that's within a reasonable time frame before the funeral, I would say you'd have time to do that.
I think I'm gonna go to the funeral and just like scout out ahead and get a feel of the layout and everything.
Cool. Okay. The layout of the funeral?
Well, yeah, like, how big is the crowd? How many entrances, exits? Are there any high vantage points that someone could, I don't know, do shenanigans from? Like, I don't know, just get a feel for it. I want to know what's going on.
Okay. And Calixto, do you have any interests that would be diverging from Aethelflaed's?
I'm interested in... probably not. I'm interested in going to the funeral and, checking in on my old friend.
Okay.
Paying my respects.
Okay. So you both head to the docks. Tarlin, you were already privy to all of this. Yes. But we'll describe everything for you. So, as Tarlin is assisting with placing bodies and... Oh, that is not the map. Where is it? Oh, okay. It did not take you away. Okay, so you make your way to the docks. The first thing that stands out to you is there is one very ornately crafted raft covered in flowers. There are a multitude of additional rafts. None of them look anywhere near as nice as this. You can tell that this had been previously prepared, and the others were very hastily contrived, given the nature of the suddenness of the need. You are able to see Untamed Siren hanging out close to the water, practicing, tuning up. Most notably, you do not see Tarina Winfina, the Sylvanesti elf, who had accompanied them. You look around a little more, and you are able to see a man that's just standing by himself, looking wistfully in the distance. You see a person who matches the description of Mayor Raven, although I don't believe any of you have actually interacted with her yet. She is standing and kind of looking off in the distance. You see Becklin Uth Viharin with her... she's pretty milfy, kind of guilty. I don't know, but she's a hot Salamnic knight, just chilling by the water, looking very sad, more composed than she had previously. And then you see a dwarven female. She goes from smashing her fist into the dock to kind of pacing back and forth. But the expression is very clear. Distraught, melancholic. You see by herself Tarina Winfina, kind of fucking around with her instrument. You see your buddy Darrett, who is not doing push-ups at the moment, but is instead sitting on the docks, looking quite wistful. You see your kinder friends, although you never ask their names. It is Kimmy and Timmy, the kinder. And then you also see Thane, the flinger.
I kind of want to talk to the kinder and also Becklin. What about you two?
I'm working. I've been here on the docks, prepping the bodies, helping.
You're welcome to join the party as you see them approach, if you'd like to.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that is a good idea. I will go ahead and kind of take a break, step over towards Ethelfled and Callisto. Welcome, friends. This is grim work that we are doing here.
It's honorable what you're doing, Tarlin. Do you always make yourself so busy doing this, I don't know, this sad business that you attend to?
You see Tarlin kind of smile wistfully, and he's like, unfortunately, the dead never end. Someone is always passing. So, honestly, yes, I find my time quite taken with assisting where I would be needed.
Seems like a grim life, my friend.
He does. Tarlin does kind of smile a little bit brighter after this, and he says, "The joy is in the relief for the living, because most of this is truly for them."
What's Ethelfled getting up to?
Alright, surveying, and again, probably just watching the crowd, seeing if there's anything, taking into account, like, just what's the structure around them, like, if there's a stampede, would they be okay? Like, she's, I don't know, engineer brain, just going around, she's just measuring stuff and looking at people, probably walking around. Whoever seems maybe the most interesting or the most important should probably be drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it occurs to you...
need to talk to the gnome.
It does occur to you that the person who matches the description of Mayor Raven would probably be the most important person in town. And then Becklin, of course, would be a person of interest. Cudgel Ironsmile, who had just lost 50 mercenaries, would also be a person of interest.
Is Cudgel here?
Cudgel is here. There is a female dwarf that is right here, looking angry and sad simultaneously.
Oh, I was asking, is that the punchy dwarf? And yes, it is the punchy one.
And then Tosh, as far as defenses go, I mean, you do see other people around. Nobody really stands out. Everyone's who is gathered as far as common folk are just kind of standing in the distance, having separate conversations. You do see some people that are dressed more fancily than others.
So is it mostly common folk in attendance? Because, this guy was a big deal. Mostly commoners or, high-ups or just, a good mixture? A podium somewhere or something for the elite or,
Certainly nothing stands out as far as status or station. You do see quite a few people that are kind of gathered around. Some look more simple than others. But you would have no indication as to whether anyone would be a truly big deal other than the people who have kind of stood out in that first introduction. You see the people that were introduced, either you have had conversations with before. There is a gentleman on the dock that kind of stands out, standing to himself. He's armored, and he is very deep in thought. As far as defenses, there are certainly some. I mean, it is a dock, so there's quite a lot of water. Most of the ships are kind of off in the distance to make way for what will inevitably be several burning boats, rafts, little tiny vessels of sorts. There are rafters above, and Anort decorations, like little streamers and flowers and things like that. But nothing as far as anything that would be housing anyone nefarious, if that's the concern. There are some rooftops nearby. You kind of scope them out and you don't see anyone on top of them. So as you scan, you don't see anything truly that stands out other than the traditional defenses of a dock.
Okay.
And that's reach off cudgel. So Hunter, you said you wanted to talk to the Kinder and Becklin.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Which one would you prefer to approach first? Which group?
I guess Becklin first.
Okay. Would you all like to have a conversation with Becklin? Or is this going to be Hunter Solamente?
I mean, I'll go with him. Just, I guess, under the guise of a follow-up, make sure she is okay.
Well, they're talking to Becklin. I'll go ahead and go back to my work and helping out.
Okay. So the two of you approach Becklin.
As I'm approaching Becklin, can I make an insight check just to like scope her out? Does she look like she's emotionally recovered somewhat, or is she still like
roll an insight
after her friend Cudgel lost her mercenary band?
Let's see how well you assess her.
Oh, she looks fine. I don't know. She looks like what she looks like, I guess.
Yeah, you are trying to study her. She is very stoic, but you, who are of a knightly nature, you know that she might just be doing it for the troops, just based off of your experience, not necessarily what you're experiencing from her. She's most likely putting on some sort of facade. She's clearly remorseful. She is grieving, but there's nothing beyond that that truly stands out.
Okay. Can I refer to you and Eddie's expertise? How do Solamnic knights greet each other? Just like, hey, you.
I don't know if you necessarily have something. There's
not like a handshake or some
secret handshake.
So there's S. Sularis Oathnetheus, which is the motto of the Solamnic Knights.
Okay. Well, I feel like I wouldn't walk up to a Marine and be like, Semper Fidelis, bro. But so
I mean,
I might, yeah.
So you would know that is Est Sularis Oathnetheus, which is my honor is my life.
Okay. So I guess what I'll do is I will approach her from the front so she can see us coming, and Aethelflaed's with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then can we just sort of nod to her and greet her? And again, I'm decked out in my Solamnic armor. Did we catch her name last session? I don't know that we did.
Yeah, she's Becklin Uthviarn. You know her name.
Okay. So I say, Uthviarn, good day to you.
good. There's nothing good about today. But we'll make it through it.
No, it is a grim day. But our friend would want us to go on as best we can. Sort of nodding towards Green Shield. I'll say, how did you meet him?
Well, I couldn't get rid of him. I wanted to. I tried to. He was that kind of smug, cocky guy who just always figures it out and gets it right. And at first it drove me crazy. And then I realized what a great asset it was. And, well, then he grew on me. And we became very good friends. Yeah. Funny what stabbing people back to back will do to conjure up some friendship.
You know, it's funny, I had the very same impression of him. He actually quite got on my nerves at first. But his contributions were undeniable.
Ah, yes. Tell me, what was your meeting like with Isbin?
Well, I can say that it happened under rather embarrassing circumstances on my part. And while I don't want to go into too much detail, Isbin preserved my honor in a situation where I would have been quite humiliated if not for his actions. And I've been deeply indebted to him ever since, so I'm quite fond of Isbin. But, as you say, he's always been, well, just right about everything, and there's something that just grates on you about that. But I did appreciate having him around in the time that I knew him.
And then Aethelfled, she smiles very warmly, as if looking at a picture of an old friend, as she imagines him standing up to people and protecting people, as he always did. And she motions to you. Did you know him?
You know, I can't say that I did, really. Just a name like everyone else, and he seemed alright. He seemed like a good lad, and, respectable. Good name with the folk. Yeah, the little people, you gotta listen to them, yeah. They say he's good, he's good. And she's just, fumbling, because she really doesn't know him. But she's trying to be, positive for her, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
she allows this. She feels pretty good about that.
Say, Becklin, could I ask, what happened last night, and who were those 3 knights who came and accosted our friend Tarlin?
I thought they were good people. I thought how fortunate that there are these Solamnic knights that just happen to come in for the Kingfisher Festival. But then, well, let's just say they had a gruff demeanor. And I asked them to do some investigating outside of the city. There was something about them that didn't seem quite right to me. I know knights, and I recognized one of them. Vaguely. I've seen him around. Somebody's squire a long time ago, I think, but I did ask them to leave. As far as what happened last night, nobody knows officially. We just found 50 dead mercenaries.
Did they learn anything?
What was that question?
Did they learn anything?
What, you mean the dead mercenaries? They learn never trust anyone.
No, did the 3 knights end up investigating, or did their investigations turn up anything, in spite of their methods?
I don't think so. I I believe they interrogated Gregoris, but I don't know what the extent of that was. I know that they came out saying that they had learned nothing. When I went in, Gregoris complained about their methods, and that's when I asked them to leave the city.
Can we see Tarlin from where we are?
Yeah. He's just doing stuff.
Okay. What is Becklin's rank like in comparison to me? Am I a squire?
You are quite low ranking compared to her. She is a highly decorated general. Or not general. She's a highly decorated, like, captain. Like, she's up there, but she's not, like, up there. Okay. As far as you can tell.
Okay. If so, she's a general?
She is a captain. Yeah,
she's
sorry.
Okay.
She's not quite general, but she is a captain. Like, she's a big deal. She's done some stuff. But she certainly isn't in charge of anything that you can tell right now, other than the defense of Fogler.
Okay. Then I'm going to point to Tarlin, and I'm going to say, Captain Uthmatar, we don't quite know each other very well yet, but I'd like to bring to your attention that this man, Tarlin, pointing to Tarlin as he sort of goes about his work, is gifted beyond the normal means. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. And it may be of great use to us in defending this city. His ability is... well, it's not like anything of this world that I've seen.
I'll take anything I can get at this point. And you, she points at Aethelflaed. Thane has told me that you are something of a genius.
She is.
Aethelflaed blushes and scratches the back of her head. Oh, don't know to be saying that, but I do have a few ideas about what we could do with this town. I've talked to the little gnome a bit, and she's gonna pull out parchments with blueprints of, like, just the different things she's been working on, and unravel them, kind of, like, hand them to... Fuck, I just forgot her name. Benton, no.
Becklin?
Becklin, yeah, hand them to Becklin.
She kind of, like, looks at them and studies, and
it's just, like, the ramparts and the modifications to, like, the gnome slinger, and just, you know, just different weapons that they could use, or modifications, and just, you know, just stuff like that.
You get the impression, as you've gotten many a time when you've pulled out your blueprints and your documents of sorts, that she doesn't quite get it, but she does nod solemnly.
It's really good stuff, like, yeah, you just need these few people to make all the difference if we can build everything on this page.
Yes, I think we could use someone like that around here, but I'm afraid it may be too little too late.
Too late? You want the whole town to go next versus 50 bloody people? Which is very insensitive to say, probably, but she's like, think big, you know, like, and there are a few now, probably very insensitive to say now that I think about it, but...
Yeah.
She doesn't seem miffed.
I guess, yeah, you know, 50 people is just going to be start of it. We can't figure out how to defend ourselves or what we're fighting.
She makes a good
I'm trying to do something about it, at least.
Would be nice to have someone shoulder my burden. You've met Thane. He isn't exactly defense-minded. He just wants to fling. And sure, that's all well and good. I've tolerated this fleeing because he means well, and it looks like maybe it could be a weapon, to the untrained eye. So I've tolerated his machinations, but to have someone here who could really sink their teeth into our defenses would be phenomenal. And you, Calixto, to have a knight of Solamnia in tow with me as well. Well, if you wanted to rise up in the ranks, helping out Becklin with Viharan would be a great start. And then we have Tarlin. She kind of motions to him. Where does he get his power from?
I'm not sure. He's...
Don't tell people like... sorry.
No, go on.
As you're like saying like, I don't know. She, again, her understanding is holy people or magic, like don't them golds or whatever they worship give it to them. Isn't that like some blood demon pack thing? I don't know.
He's one of those robe mages.
Well, they hunt down the rogue mages. I certainly hope he finds his path within the Tower of High Sorcery. The Mages Enclave could use more like him. If he is as strong as you say he is.
I've seen it myself. And this woman, and I sort of draw my rapier, and I say, she's an engineer like no other. Look at this, meticulous work, and I show her the +2 hilt that Aethelflood added to my rapier.
She examines it, and she knows her way around some weapons, right? She's well-versed and studies the craftsmanship and just kind of nods in appreciation. Maybe things are changing for us. This is just the ray of hope that I needed.
That's the spirit.
So is she giving Aethelflood clearance to fuck with the flinger? To tweak the flinger into like a real weapon?
Hasn't explicitly said, yeah, go fuck with the flinger, but you feel like the flinger could be flung.
Do you want to fling the flinger, Aethelflood? Or like, what is that your goal? Like, what are you looking to reinforce right now? Because it sounds like that's what you kind of want to get into.
Just want it turn it from like a rich kid launcher to like a functioning trebuchet or something. But like the shotgun idea that Eddie was talking about last time.
Like make it into a weapon.
Yeah, like even if it's taking the flinger and putting like a freaking like cart on it and filling that with bowling balls and just launching it trebuchet style instead of like a railgun or something like that. Because I imagine it's just like pulling something down like a track essentially at high velocity, and that's kind of shooting it into the air. And I don't want it to like run along a track, and it would rely on like something being coiled or turned or pulled back to launch it instead of just like something that'll work on centrifugal force that we can just pull back and release, and it does all the work for us. Mm-hmm. Like, so kind of like alley-ooping it versus like shooting it.
And if memory serves, you kind of gave instructions to, but your primary was to fortify the dock, if memory serves.
Yeah, so really, yeah, it's whatever Thane is going to do, because I told him what to do, but we'll see what he actually does.
Okay. So I'm going to look at Captain Uthmatar, and I'm going to say, Captain Uthmatar, you don't know me. I'm Calixto Carlias. But we've all lost friends. And I sort of nod towards Ispin Greenshield. And I say, and we've lost them even now. I saw you last night, and that was real pain. I believe we may be in danger, and there's no harm in us preparing early. If we do this now, it may save us down the road. Do you give us clearance to weaponize this gnome flinger into something that may save lives before it's too late? Something is happening, and it's happening as recently as last night.
She doesn't hesitate. She says, please, anything you can do to protect this city. And she kind of like motioned towards the various people on the dock. This is just a small handful of people that Ispin and I both cherished. All we wanted was to protect them. And I knew the moment he went down, something would happen. Because that's kind of always how it was. He would venture off, and next thing you know, we would be attacked, and then he would have to come help us and save the day. And, well, he won't be saving the day anymore.
I almost said Alocasia. Ethelfled, when Bentley, god damn it, Becklum mentions that he always leaves and then they get attacked and then he has to come save them, that's gonna raise like a tiny flag in Ethelfled's brain. Like, how is it convenient that a guy always disappears right before they get attacked? Like, that's sus to her.
I'm going to roll an insight check in a way where like she can see I'm like I'm looking her in the eyes and asking her a question, right? And I'm gonna ask her like, Captain Uthmatar, do you believe that this town may be in danger of being attacked? And I'm making this insight check in a way that's my body language is like, tell me the truth. You know what I mean? She sees me like, I want to know. Be real with me.
Sorry, Discord crashed.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you have hated out of character that's kind of sus.
You guys hear me?
Do you vocalize
Yes.
that in
I
character?
can hear you that, Eddie.
Ethelfled would not know. Like, I guess if she was noticed, like her eyebrows would narrow, like her eyes would narrow probably a little bit, or like she just noticed. She doesn't say anything verbally, but internally she's like, that's suspicious.
Mm.
Because I mean, like, what's the coincidence that every time this guy disappears, they get attacked, and then he has to come back to save them? Like, that's the story. How many times did it happen? Like, y'all can't suck that bad that you have to be saved that many times. So it's like, maybe he staged it. Or maybe he put them in that position so he could come save them. Like, maybe he's not actually...
Roll an insight check.
Well, I did, and it was a 7. And so it's like, maybe it's not... He's not exactly who he appears to be. But that's suspicious to her.
Okay. You said he rolled one and it was a 7.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
when
he
you
did.
crashed.
Okay.
I rolled for it, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you think that this guy might not be on the up and up, and you have no reason to believe otherwise. So, that's where you're at on that.
Maybe he faked his death. Dun dun dun.
Right? Let's go stab the body, find out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone would lose their
With
shit.
that, he's actually an undead. Dun dun dun. I'm kidding, guys.
So, does she believe that we're in danger, that this town could potentially, realistically be in danger of being attacked?
Yes. Very much so.
Okay. Then we...
You don't have to roll insight to figure that one out.
Okay. So, we are honor bound to do something about this situation. Can she give us some insight into, you know, what is being done right now to defend this city? I know she told us about the guard, so I guess not that, but like regarding the fair's been canceled, right? What else is going on in light of this news?
We should talk to the mayor.
I thought this person was in charge of the defenses specifically.
True, but the mayor is the one person that's going to have to know everything that's going on, not just offenses. So
That's
maybe there's
true.
other things happening too.
Okay, so maybe we should check in with the mayor then.
Yeah, like it'd be cool to like get the defenses from her, but like that's just her one field, you know.
Okay, so she doesn't know anything else then? Like,
Well, she
actually-
might. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like,
Might.
if we wanted to know deeper than just defenses, like, because maybe there's scouting projects out that the mayor knows about, but she's not necessarily in charge of because that's like her personal spy network versus like a soldier, you know.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of actually what I'm asking about, because she's already told us about the defenses. So like, and so like steps are clearly being taken, right? Because they've canceled the fair. Some organization has happened at some point where they were like, all right, something's got to be done. We're canceling this fair. We're gonna have the funeral today early instead.
But that would be more than just her decision. Yeah, I guess is what I'm saying. So we need to.
So I
talk
will
to
ask her then, like, who is involved with this, with the organization of defending this city? Like her, probably the mayor.
And
Who,
what
who
board
else
or
is
yeah.
involved with this?
Is there like a council?
Oh,
Is
you
it-
asked me in character, correct?
Yes, I say this in character.
Well, I know I should be more active right now. I can't do it all. How am I supposed to defend an entire city against dragon creatures?
I believe you may be
Reptilian.
short-handed.
I think so. I was so happy to see these 3 Solamnic knights, and they volunteered to help me, but something was off. And, well, it's hard for me to trust, but I don't know. I can tell that there's something special about you, Calixto, you, Aethelflaed, and even Tarlin, as he works away for people he's never met and doesn't have to care for. He genuinely just wants to help, and I can tell that the two of you do as well. If there's any burden you can shoulder for me, please, it would be so helpful. I'm just kind of a mess right now. I've been in charge of this for a long time, and we haven't had any real calamity. I had Ispin by my side, and I always knew that the might of Cudgel would be protective. But what I've seen and what I've discovered is we are vulnerable. I've been telling Mayor Raven that we were vulnerable, but you only get so many resources, right? And, well, you've seen the guards. We're lucky to have them, but they're not sharp, and they're not sturdy, and they're not reliable, and it's a big
Sounds
city,
like they need to be
and it's
ripped
hard.
into shape.
I think you're right. I think we need someone's presence. Would the 3 of you be offering to help me shoulder this burden of protecting the city?
It is my
Aethelflaed.
duty to do so.
Aethelflaed.
I'll help the way that I'll help you as long as you let me help the way I want to.
Nice, I like that.
Because that's why
I'd
she
say-
dropped out from being a knight. It's because they didn't like that she wanted to do things differently. Or like, you know, this is the training regimen. This is how we do it. And if she would be like, well, what if we did this way, it'd be better. They'd be like, no, just do it this way. Don't make your toys like be a knight. And she's like, but a knight means saving, not just like this. So she didn't quite, yeah, her background on a squire, but she never made it really further than a squire. Because again, institution, she doesn't agree.
So you, at first you think she's falling, right? Because she's moving forward. But she's not falling. She wraps her arms around you and
Oh.
a soft bear hug.
Oh.
Inescapable. And she says,
What?
just as you wrapped that blanket around me earlier, I feel like you're doing the same again, but with your words.
Make an athletics check, Noah. I'm kidding.
Right. I think Ethelflaed's getting flashbacks of her mom holding her when her mom was alive and she felt safe. Now everything's ruined. She'll probably like physically
immediately releases.
Trauma trigger.
She's just she like absorbed you. She releases you, and then Calixto, she flies at you, almost like she's about to spear you, but instead she hugs you, and immediately starts looking around, releases you, and regains her composure. Yes, you have carte blanche in this city. Everyone, we need hope right now. And these are our rays of sunshine. We will be safe and we will be okay. And everyone on the dock just kind of takes notice, and you can tell some of them believe because they want to. You can tell some of them believe because it's from Becklin. Some of them don't believe. Some of them are like, okay, 50 people just died. This Ispin guy's down. Go ahead.
Could I build off of this and use my inspiring leader feat to give an inspiring speech to warn everybody that we have real concerns, and that if anything does occur, look to Captain Becklin and ourselves?
How do the mechanics work for that? Do you roll something?
That's a...
No, basically it's a 10-minute speech, and
yeah, go on.
it's a 10-minute speech, and it gives a temporary HP to. It says up to 6 friendly creatures get temporary HP equal to your level plus your charisma mod.
Yeah, so I'm mostly doing it for flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the most scared looking person there too? Because as Calixto's talking, I want to cast heroism on that person. So like, as Calixto's like talking, they like lose their fear and they feel like really encouraged.
So that would be the sad little boy.
I'm gonna walk up to the boy and just like. Oh, it's a touch action. It's a touch spell, so I have to touch him. So it's gonna be kind of like a palm to forehead, blessing be upon me type of thing.
Nice.
You grip their shoulder reassuringly, and that would also count.
Yeah, she'll just like touch him on the forehead and be like, "You are protected."
Okay, so as you're looking around, you see. Where's the sad little fucker at?
He's hiding.
He's around.
Somewhere.
Very emo bastard.
Where's the rain cloud? Follow it.
Start playing some Hawthorne Heights and show up.
Yeah. I think my roommate left while like Christmas music or something was in her room, because I've heard like weird like orchestral music, like gentle piano playing all day long.
That sounds nice.
It's okay, yeah, it's fine. It's just...
I'm sure it could be creepy depending on the circumstances too.
When you think you're alone and you hear music and you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, here's everything that's happening. Let's just paint the picture. So, Tarlin, you are currently doing your ritual stuff. You're helping. There's a lot of work to do. You have immediately ingratiated yourself with at least the people in your immediate vicinity who are also helping out with this process. Some were volunteers. Maybe some made a little coin off of this. Maybe some actually cared about the mercenaries, or maybe they cared about Cudgel. but there are a lot of people actively helping you. Now, you're having this conversation with Becklin. You've offered to perpetually, at least, or maybe just in the short term, but certainly help with the fortification of this city. You're committed and you're offering to lend this aid because you genuinely care and you genuinely want to help and you see a need. You've had a weird morning, right? And it started with Becklin and these 3 interrogators. Maybe are kind of shady. Becklin's got reservations. Aethelflid, you wrapped a very distraught Becklin with a blanket, and all of this comes back to her, and in a moment, she just wraps her arms around you, very surprisingly. And then Calixto, you also get a hug. And then Calixto, you're hearing these words from Becklin as she's pronouncing you 3 as the saving graces, this ray of hope in a weird, shitty, troubling time. And the words are good, but they're not good enough. And you use your inspiring leader to amplify. She is swelling up with pride as she's saying it. And at first, the words to her, she doesn't quite hear them, like she's numb. And then as you just kind of bolster her, you can see that the confidence in her own words is starting to grow as she pronounces the 3 of you as the saving grace in a hopeless, bleak time. And then Aethelflid. Immediately, you're compelled to find the saddest-looking person, and you see Darrett, the little dude who loves Untamed Siren, but did push-ups instead of meeting them, thanks to Calixto's inspiring. You see him, and at this point, you decide to cast heroism on him.
Yes.
Okay. Is that a touch? Do you have to touch him, or can you just say
I do have to touch him.
Okay, so you maybe pat him on the shoulder.
Or like scruffle his hair, like yeah, and just tousle his hair.
Something about you as you approach stands out to him, and you have just been described by Becklin Uthviarn, who is in charge of the defenses of this city. You are proclaimed to be the saving grace in a troubling, uncertain time. You scruffle his hair, you cast heroism, and like a sponge, he just absorbs some sort of intangible. He looks at you, he wants to be you. He wants to be a saving grace of this city. He wants to help out. If you guys are going to work, he wants to go to work. And just like that time when he was like, I'm going to go do some push-ups, you can see something growing inside of him. And that something is confidence and willingness. And he kind of reaches for his blade. And he says, how can I help?
Quick assessment of him. Will that tell me that he might, again, maybe be more suited for the night route? Like, I should have him talk to Calixto?
The night route?
You can roll insight.
Well, lad, you want to help? That's bloody good to hear. God, I want to give her like a soft, like in it type of accent, like British accent, which I thought was like the most stereotypical common. But like now that I'm trying to do it, I'm like, yeah, I can't. I can do it a British accent, but that one like fucking is slippery to me for some reason.
Accents are hard, man. So the trickier thing about being a DM is you have to like remember the accents and everything. It's rough. But I think your accent has been phenomenal.
Well, thanks, because I don't want to do the other accents that my other characters have, but at this point, I'm like, fuck, I'll just do it. Fuck.
Just do what feels comfortable. We're gonna get it right sometimes, and we're gonna not get it right sometimes. All practice.
And
whatever makes sense.
Kid, just my mate Calixto, he might be able to help train you. Maybe you can find just all the willing people. Spread the hope, you know? Gather the maids around the block. I'll raise them all together. Like,
Calixto has better things to do than train me. I've been learning from Lord Becklin as well. But man, he seems really cool, and I bet he knows a lot of stuff.
oh, he knows loads. He knows as much about fighting as I do about machines. And I built this thing. And then she's gonna essentially, like, unleash her lantern, and Faraday will come, like, folding into his standing readiness, I guess. I don't know. It's like a transformer.
Is that yours?
Faraday, yeah, that's what I decided to name my companion, yeah.
Nice, your little steel defender
Mhm.
who has been launched in the gnome flinger. At this point.
He's made of metal, it's not like he'll die.
He did a good job. Yeah, so you can tell, like, he kind of eyeballs Calixto. You've planted this interesting seed. And normally, if he wasn't inspired by your heroism, he would never have the balls to do this. But he says, hey, can we go talk to him?
Aethelflaed will grin. She'll be like, ah, it's the spirit. Come on, mate. And then he's gonna turn around and shout and just be like, oi! Oi, Calixto!
I look over at them curiously.
I found a project for you. I have. And then she's gonna kind of like gently nudge the child towards you.
And I say, you? I remember you. We had spoken before. And
I'm Garrett.
Derek.
He's like starstruck.
What brings you here today, Derek?
Well, 51 funerals, sir.
Ah, it's a pain we all share. Greenshield was a fine man indeed. We were lucky to
Yes.
He was.
Aethelflaed will like kind of nudge him again in another hair tossle and be like, this one says he wants to help us. I was thinking maybe you had an idea about how he could help us.
Is that so?
Anything. Tell me, what can I do? How can I do my part?
As it happens, we're quite short-handed. I've no doubt we could make great use of you. I appreciate your help, Derek. Give us a moment to organize, and then we'll get to you as soon as we can.
Where are you staying,
Great.
little one?
Kaylee.
Well, my house is over there. And he kind of points off in the distance.
Like, he's just pointing, like, in a direction, so just, like, that way type of thing.
Nothing very helpful. Yeah, it's just like, oh, over there.
How
See it,
how
see it?
old
It's got
is this guy?
a red roof. And they all have red roofs. And he's like, it's the
Yeah.
one, there.
With the flowers.
But I can meet you guys somewhere.
How old is
Yeah,
he?
mate.
Anything.
I don't know. He looks like he would be, like, what,
14?
16 at oldest?
Yeah, like
He's
14 to
14.
16, something like that.
He's 14.
Is that old enough to be a squire? We could make him your squire or something. Just get, like,
I think that is old enough to be a squire.
make him do, like, task run errands and shit.
Yeah?
Make
could
him our
recruit Derek.
gopher.
Gopher. Carry the luggage, Derek. No.
Yeah, he'll be the new mule.
You know what? It'll be good to have Derek around. You know,
Don't we always adopt kids?
We do. We do always adopt kids. They're good to mold.
And to carry out our evilness. Tell you what, mate.
Okay.
You come back in the morning where we are right here, and we'll get something for you to. We'll have something for you then.
Oh, cool. Oh, thanks, guys. So he's with you? And points to Tarlin.
Oh yeah, that when he talks to the dead.
Say that again? He does what?
He's a special person.
He's very, very powerful.
Oh man, I want to be powerful. And he like leaps up and he runs over, feeling this inspiration from his heroism. Tarlin, he runs to you and says, "Hey, is there any way I can lend you a hand?"
Harlan thinks for a moment and says, "Well, we are working on arranging these fine soldiers properly. Would you be okay with handling them?" He kind of indicates to the dead that he is standing next to.
And then Aethelflid and Calixto, he kind of like swings around like a little puppy. And he kind of like waves his arm in the air, back and forth. And he says, "Hey, I'm going to help out Mr. Tarlin."
Oh, that's a good lad. You're doing great. I'm gonna wait now.
He's so
He's kind of
enthusiastic.
starstruck, Tarlin.
I
He
not
swings
approving.
around and he swings around Tarlin and he says, "I'm going to help you, Mr. Tarlin. What can I do?" And he just like starts kind of fumbling with some stuff. And you can tell he's kind of like picking up things, and he's like, "What is this?" And he doesn't really know what to do.
I'm like, come with me, friend. And then he motions to the next body that is kind of laid down on the ground. He's like, "Help me transfer him to the table so we can prepare him properly. Grab under the arms, and I will get under the legs, and make sure you lift with me on the count of 3."
Okay, he obediently listens. Let's see how well he does.
Death Doctor.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Okay.
Late.
I was like, "What's my mod? And is there a mod? What kind of roll?" And I was like, "I'm just gonna roll a d20 and see how it looks." Okay, so Tarlin, he is soaking up every single word, and you can see him occasionally kind of glance back at Tarlin or Calixto and Aethelflip, just kind of like, yeah, like kind of smiling, looking back.
Cheers, Mom and Dad.
As he's, and he is like not at your pace. You've done this before, but he's just so incredibly solid. And you realize that this kid has some sort of good potential, a little bit of talent. He's soaking it up like a sponge. It's kind of like watching Phil play Magic, where you're just kind of like, yeah, you just get it better than I do,
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like watching a genius at work, and you can tell that this kid has a lot going for him, and he's very eager to please. But he destroyed every instruction you gave him with that nat 20.
Perfect.
So Darrett's around.
He's
weaseling
doing
his
it.
way into your friend group.
Is this going to be our commander into the leadership feat? What?
Oh.
He's a good egg, and he's trying to help you guys. Would you like to interact with Darrett more? Would you like to interact with more people that are currently on the dock? And I can go down that list again if you'd like.
Tarla, unless you want to go first, I'll suggest something.
I actually am going to ask Iron Smile over the leader of the mercenaries. Ask her to come over and kind of basically tell them a little bit about each of the men as Tarlin does the preparation. And Tarlin knows that this will kind of be a little cathartic for her and help with the grieving process. So he's kind of trying to assist with that. He knows how upset and frustrated she is. So he just very gently just asks, "Would you mind speaking a few words about each of your men as I prepare them for service?"
Boy, they were all real super shitty, horrible, shitty people. But I miss them all. I miss them all. And she kind of like clenches a fist. Nothing.
He
swearing.
I was waiting for it.
He puts a hand on her shoulder and kind of and leads her over to the table that they're working at as he's, basically cleaning their wounds, making sure that they don't have blood on their faces, that they all look presentable, that their families could see them and not be frightened by how they look. And he's like, please tell me about this man. What has he done? And I kind of, as I go to work and like I said, cleaning his wounds, making sure he's got neat armor.
Okay, I like that. Okay. We called him Shitmouth. He never brushed his teeth. We hated him. Everyone hated him. He always smelled like shit breath, and he would be drunk. And one time, I'm pretty sure he like walked around and dog shit on purpose, and then just smelled funny in camp. That was old Shitmouth. He was a good, trustworthy son of a bitch.
I will say that is a accurate 2 out of 10 roll. That was amazing. I loved it. I loved every second of that. Harlan manages to keep a straight face through the shit mouth comments.
Roll performance.
Don't make me do that, man.
I have fun with that one. Let's see how well you stifle your laughter.
Did I do okay? Did I do okay? Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Did okay. Solemn.
Very nice. Okay, so you stifle your laughter, but on the inside, you're like, yo.
Corner of your lip twitches.
Like, shit mouth. Anyway.
Is there anything else you want to ask her? Or, I mean, you could ask her about more of these dudes.
Yeah.
And we'll let RNG decide if they're cool or not.
Piece. I mean, I'm basically I'm taking the time with each guy and with each of the soldiers, and I'm gonna have her say her words for each one. And I know basically this is kind of putting it in front of her and making it real, but it's also like
making it
her
real
think about these guys. Yeah, and it is making it real. Like,
and we'll say that your 18 performance lends to that as well.
Yeah.
So you do a wonderful job of helping her grieve in a very healthy and cathartic way. And at first she's pretty resistant, but she softly gives in, and she begins to describe some of the various men that she's about to set on fire, because somehow 50 of her men were killed. You can tell that there's a lot of guilt, because she wasn't there. You can tell that there's a lot of healing that still needs to be done, but some that she's somewhat open to at the moment. There's a lot going on in her head. None of it's good, but you are showing her enough gentleness and enough kindness that it does give her an element of hope. And having heard Becklin suggest that the three of you are beacons, she doesn't quite give into it, but she thinks maybe there's a chance that Becklin's onto something, and Becklin's no fool. So as you help her with this process, those are the things that she's feeling and expressing. Is there anything you want to add to that narrative?
while we're doing this, you know, as Tarlin feels her opening up more, he's just kind of as she finishes her piece on one of the men, he's gonna kind of just very squarely look at her. He's like, "We will resolve this. These men will get their justice. I promise you."
And she grits her teeth as you say that. She clenches a fist and stares off in the distance, and she says, "We will. That's for certain." Okay. So, is there anything you want to add to that, or Calixto and Aethelflaed? What do you guys do?
Yeah.
So Darrett is helping you out, Tarlin, and he's like doing a great job. Kind of looking back and giving a thumbs up to Aethelflaed and Calixto. Calixto and Aethelflaed, you have found a way to inspire this child enough to help out your friend. He's like brownie points.
Yeah.
He's like, how can I help? You guys have like truly inspired this kid to be the best version of himself humanly possible. He's willing and he's.
I would say like after he turns around to like check in with us and be like, "Look, I'm doing the thing," and we're like, "Good job, dude." They're gonna like turn around. Ethelflaed's gonna turn around and kind of like clasp Calixto in the back, like in a just a kind of a pat, and be like, "So, mate, I think we need to go see the mayor. You know which one she is, or he? I don't know if we know. Is it he or she? You know which one's the mayor?" And just kind of look around.
Oh, have I met Mayor Raven?
They point out Mayor Raven.
I don't know.
So, Mayor Raven.
Character though, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually know what they look like, or if we know if it's a male or female, or
Somebody
like.
met her. I think it was you or Tarlin.
Me, I think it was
I
me.
don't think I met her though.
That would be great.
No, actually, no. I met Ispin. I met not Ispin. That'd be weird. I met the knight we were just talking to previously when we first came to town.
Yeah.
Becklin, yes, Becklin.
So
That was the first person I interacted with in town.
Ethelflaed will just grab a random person by the collar and be like, "Hey, which one's the mayor?"
And they point out this stunning woman who is, you can see a little sun kind of giving her a glow from the background. She looks a mixture of confident, but also slightly. You get the impression that she doesn't know what she's doing, but she seems to have some layer of confidence.
Well, Ethelflaed will take a moment to pause and appreciate the basking glow view of the setting sun or whatever in this woman. But, oh, great bite, thanks. And then ignore the pedestrian. And then motion for Calixto, like this way, like, come on.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow her.
And we will approach the mayor. But
Standing before you is Mayor Raven.
gotta give like a mocking kind of curtsy with, my like leather aprons and like scorched shirts and shit and whatever.
Yes,
Lady.
I will greet her very graciously.
So you're supposed to be the ray of light.
Is that what the mayor says to us?
Word on the street is you're the hope that's supposed to save Vogler. Is that accurate? Is that true? Are you going to save my city?
Who told you that?
Well, Becklin just shouted it to everyone. You made it more inspiring.
It would be unfair to promise that nothing terrible could potentially happen. But we will do everything in our power to ensure the safety of these people.
And if by us you mean we, as in all of us saving our own asses in this city, then yes, I think we can help do that.
Right.
I guess what she's implying is, like, again, kind of like, no, the three of us alone are not gonna, like, save the city. Like, again, in Ethelflaed's mind, like, again, a city is an organism, it's a machine, like, everything has a function and a role, so, like, it takes an entire town. It's gonna take everybody, like, volunteering and helping to, like, to save the city. Like, 3 people by themselves? How no, we're not saving the city. Like, what are we gonna do? It's gonna be everybody.
So as you express that, you can tell that she appreciates that answer. She says, "What would you need of me?"
Ethelflaed will kind of, like, side-eye Calixto and be like, honestly, everything, you know? Fuck, no, okay. Everything, yeah. Jesus Christ, her accent. Maybe it'll just be old fucking English accent.
It's been solid so far.
It hurts me so
like
much.
You're being self-conscious, but it sounds great. I mean, I don't.
That's just because I can feel, like, other characters slipping in, and it's like, no, stop.
You're kind of going between the Cockney British and Scott.
I know, and I don't want to slip into Scott because I have a Scott character.
You're doing great though with both accents, I will say.
Thanks. What we need from you is information and access to your knowledge. Like, we need to know. Can you explain what you've a report or anything on this incident? Like, we need to know what's going on. Simply put,
to help you.
Yeah, she's gonna, like, kind of like, yeah, what he said. Well, yeah, more Calixto. He's definitely more affluent in speaking to people than her, but...
Well, no, like, as she's saying, we need access. We need to be able to help you. And that means knowing what's going on to take care of this town. We see that you have, moved this funeral ahead, and you have canceled the fair, which seems good because we know 50 people have been killed recently. But in order to be most effective and help the citizens of this town in case of an attack, which seems possible considering how effectively those 50 people were killed, can you help us understand what is being done to ensure this town is protected effectively?
Persuasion.
Also, Mayor, I think we need to put the party back. Fuck her name. We need to put the party back in play. As you just said, we're... Fuck, alright, whatever. As you just said, we're the New Hopes. We should take the sad, mix it in with the happiness that we have now, and make everyone hopeful, and use the momentum of what we're feeling, I think if we put the festival back on, it would raise everyone's hopes, and might be what they need after this sad time of not just a great hero's death, but 51 persons.
So we'll say not. Go and roll persuasion as well. Not that it truly matters, but let's figure out if it's like crazy epic.
+2. Did I roll a 1?
It was good. Okay.
Wasn't a 1.
So she soaks all of this up, and she's listening. She's doing more listening than talking. You're both making your pitches, right? And she's studying you guys up and down, trying to figure you guys out. There's some hesitance because 50 people have just been murdered and nobody knows how or why. And there are also reports of Salonic Knights being killed by reptilian creatures who greatly resemble dragons and are the things of nightmare fuel. And both of you give very compelling reasons why you should be granted a little bit of access to the inner workings as well as have access throughout the city.
Usually in this time of fear with people, you give them a target to be afraid of, and then that rallies them. So we could easily just paint it on dragons and be like, obviously the dragons did it. We don't know how yet, but that's how they killed 50 people. Like, this other unknown creature works for the dragons. We'll just make a face for him for now or something. Like, I think we can do it, guys.
I think we can.
So,
are we about to propagandize these dragons?
Yes, we are.
So you're pinning it on the Draconians?
It seems like the easiest.
Well,
I mean, obviously we don't know and we want to find out, but like, if people need an answer and they're scared, and this will help them like build defenses and fight and give them courage, like, people just need something to blame. They need something to put their fear at. Yes, exactly. Yes, we are. Well, I am. I don't know about you guys, but
fear mongering is such a harsh word. I prefer aggressive propagandizing.
We're warning.
So
we can get there. We just gotta plant the seed first.
She absorbs all of this, right? And you have asked for a lot of access to the city, a lot of information, and you're suggesting that these 50 men were killed by these Draconians.
Well, I mean, I guess what I want to make clear to her too, like, we're not saying that that is what killed it, and she is probably aware that also that's not what killed them is a dragon. Everyone, like, the higher-ups know this. What she's saying is, like, lied to the people about the cause of death. Like, the village. Like, they know the truth, but then they lie to everyone else.
So just tell the public.
So you're suggesting, like, like a wag the dog moment, where you're like, basically like, hey, I don't know and you don't know, but what if we just told them that we did?
Jesus.
Is that what you're suggesting?
Exactly, yes.
Oh my God, Tosh.
She doesn't know what she's doing, so this is giving her also control of the situation. Like, now she can take charge because it's like, look, we have an enemy, like, yeah, like, this is gonna give her, like, I don't know, more in with the people in the end, especially if it's successful. It's only if we fail that she's gonna get fucked. And we can't fail because then everyone's dead anyway.
Love this. Okay. So we'll say that this is a totally different concept than the last persuasion roll. So roll persuasion with advantage.
Well,
because that's great RP, and I want this to work too.
Persuasion is where'd you go? But I mean, it's like
the life, though. Yes, dude.
Yay! I mean, I'm like,
so this
who's that author that's like all this sci-fi and shit is just like taken from life? Like all these crazy nightmarish things, like it's real. Sorry, DM. Go ahead.
So here's what happened. So, okay. So she's been real quiet. She's been absorbing all of this conversation from both Calixto and Aethelflaed. She maybe nods occasionally. She's very poker faced and very stoic. You can tell that she doesn't give up much. She just wears a mask. And she's not emoting. She's just observing your words, basically. And then Aethelflaed. Towards the end of this, you suggest that it would make sense to go ahead and explain to the people that there is a boogeyman out in the woods. And then she says, should I tell them now?
Ooh. I think... Honestly, I think now It might be right. I don't know. People are starting to feel hopeful with what Brent. Fucking what's your... Brentwood. I gotta write this down. Hold on. I'm gonna write this down literally right now. Becklin. I have written down. Honestly, I think Becklin is fire and open. He might be able to build off that if he feels the time, but that's up to you, man. You're the one that's going to be the executive chef. What's that in, like, whatever? You're the leader of this town.
Okay.
Ethelfled thinks it would be a good time, but ultimately up to the bear. Because it's her decision and, like, her career and her lead. Like, we are still strangers and don't know. Like, we provide the hope, but it's still going to be up to her to, like, essentially run the show.
Everyone, listen up. We have no mystery as to who committed this murder. We know how these men expired. There is a threat out there stronger than anything you can imagine. Stronger than anything you can think of. These are the things of nightmares. Creatures covered in scales. I have no doubt that their mages has some sort of spell on all of Cudgel's men. We must prepare our city, and we will prepare our city, and just as Becklin has said, these, and she points to all three of you, are the messengers of our salvation. Anything they want, anything they need, be it known, they have my blessing. She points at Becklin, and her blessing too. We will rid our lands of these creatures, starting with these three right here. Finding me the head of one of these Draconians. And then we will know the nightmare before us. And she points at the three of you guys.
Aethelflaed and Faraday are gonna, like, dab and, like, flex in unison.
Dab.
Or something, like, yeah. Pump up the crowd.
Yeah, Calixto does a backflip in full armor.
Shit, that's impressive.
Just kidding.
Harlan does the Hulk Hogan,
says,
you know,
and this one will help too.
So I will say to Mayor Raven, like, listen, Mayor, we don't have the head of one of these creatures. In fact, when we encountered them before and slew them on the road, their bodies vanished. They degraded into ash or fire and acid. However, I did recover this from their armor, and I produce a plate of the armor of Takesis that I had removed from the armor set before it turned to acid.
What is this?
I say, this is the insignia of our foe. From the armor of one of the creatures we slew. We won't be able to bring you its head, but I can produce this right here and now. If you need evidence that a threat exists, this is it.
She asked for the piece of armor.
I gave it to her.
So she kind of examines it and runs her fingertips across the symbol of Takesis. And the crowd had stopped everything and listened to her, and now they're kind of murmuring and talking about it. Everyone's either lost in their thoughts or this is the thing that's being discussed. These two speeches from Becklin and this one from their mayor, Mayor Raven. She produces high above her head, kind of like Link and when he like holds stuff over his head. She holds this piece of armor directly above her head, and she says, "This is the symbol of our enemy, and they will bring us more of these. Will you?" And she produces it back to you.
I take it.
And she kind of looks you both up and down.
That's
She
it.
says, "Get me bodies."
Bodies of the enemy. We can't.
The enemy.
We can't get you bodies of the enemy.
Well, we'll have to find someone else's
It
body.
turns into juice, and there's nothing we can do about it.
We'll have to put scales on a body now. Fuck.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
Just
trying to
bring
tell
me
her. Is like
more.
the body like turns into mush.
Good job,
Doesn't
Mare.
do it.
Well, didn't
But she
we
does-
petrify? Can't we like petrify him or something? Maybe we can figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, we can't get you a body because they like dissolve into acid or they burn to ash. But I do have this piece of their armor, and so I was like, here you go. I can get you this, but like, can't get you no bodies.
Yet.
So she knows it's not the most convincing piece of evidence, but she'll accept it.
Yeah, maybe we just have to knock them out, just like capture one, you know?
Yeah, or like
Certainly could.
fucking freeze ray one or something.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the
Certainly could.
time.
Sounds like a great challenge. One that's placed right in front of you.
Somehow get it caged.
So she indicates that she will accept armor. She'd prefer a body. She wants to see this nightmarish figure in the flesh herself. She wants to interrogate somebody, preferably. But she has tasked you with trying to fulfill this mission.
Okay, interesting. Capture a draconian.
Essentially, it sounds like.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want from A Raven?
Not I.
Not I.
Okay. Is Tarlin doing anything of note right now that's not involving Cudgel?
No, I think we're. I mean, I'm still, I guess, wrapping that up whenever we're good. As far as
Let's take a
Taking
quick
care of-
break. Do you guys want to do, like, jump right to the funeral, or do you want to interact with anyone else before the funeral?
I think I'm ready for the funeral myself.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's appropriately
Okay.
timed.
yeah, I agree.
Time skip. Okay, let's take a quick break.
Irritated. Jesse.
So everyone in the city is gathered around. There is a clearly more decorated little raft that is dedicated to Isbin Greenshield. Underneath all these flowers in front of you is a green shield. It's a small one. It's a little kite shield. And it was suggested to you that there is a different green shield somewhere. That's the one that's ahead of you. You've got Untamed Siren playing the same song over and over again, but it's wistful and it's joyful. And the crowd seems to be pretty cool with it as they're being ushered. Becklin and Cudgel both stand over their old friend as being shield. You can tell that Cudgel's having a moment. Becklin puts her hand behind Cudgel, and kind of pats it, and that turns into an embrace. She kind of grabs her around the waist. Says, "We all knew Ispin, and if you didn't, you should have. Everyone should get to know Isbin Greenshield. Or should have." And she kind of sighs. "Make it known there was none better than Isbin. Please, please, if you have any stories, You know of glory of this. Please come and talk. Tell me. Listen, you, Khalid. Tell me some stories about Ispin. To go away.
She's asking me to tell a story?
She is.
Jesus fucking
She singles you out.
Alright.
Everyone, Callisto Carlias, savior of Vogler, right before you, Slobnik Knight. His honor is his word. He knew Ispin, the green sheep. Please, Callisto. And she kind of motions for you to come speak.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Alright.
That was some Chaucer level introduction, man.
So I go up there and I say, yes, Ispin was a fine friend. When I met Ispin, he seemed like he was always in the right, like he always knew better. And he had this really annoying way of actually always being in the right. It annoyed me at first, but then I realized he was a valuable friend, and he always had my back. And he certainly took care of me on more than one occasion when I would have been quite without assistance. Oh jeez, do they want a fucking story? Let's see.
Keep going! Keep going!
Oh god damn it.
I was gonna nudge him and be like, yeah, remember that time he wrestled a bear? I believed he could.
Yes.
Which, I don't know if that's true or not. She's just, like, trying to prompt him or whatever.
Of course. There was that time that I had made a deal with some folks who assured me that I was due to wrestle with a rather large, boisterous fellow who was, in fact, a bear. And when I went to the ring and I saw this great beast, I realized that the audience all were in on it, and that everyone fully expected me to fight this bear.
Bare-handed.
And that was when... And that was
Keep
when
going!
Ispin Green Shield came to my rescue. Because he, among everyone else in the crowd, realized that I had no idea what I was doing. And so, he unhesitatingly turned my competition with the bear into a tag team performance, which everyone in the crowd completely bought. And then I didn't have to wrestle the bear on my own, but rather mauled the beast together with a companion. And the two of us in our fisticuffs actually managed to beat the bear into submission. Which I had very mixed feelings about. But Ispin was undoubtedly...
Oh, it's a bear killer!
He saved my life that day. He saved my life that day. Because I would have undoubtedly been mauled. And I don't think I would have survived to tell you the story today if not for his noble actions.
Roll performance.
Jesus
With advantage.
Christ. Saved me from a wrestling match with a bear. Let's fucking go.
It's an 11. It's pretty good. So it's not the entire crowd, and it's not rip-roarous, but you do hear some people kind of clap. There are a couple of people who are like,
Yeah.
"He kills bears! They're right about him! He killed bears with him!"
Did he really wrestle a bear?
He really did. I was there.
Becklin
Oh my
nods,
God.
and she's like, "Yeah, it sounds like it's been." Cudgel nods as well, smiling in her eyes. It sure does.
Yes.
And then,
Would anyone else like to tell a story about Ispin Grinshield?
please, anyone, says Becklin.
Yeah, get me the fuck out of here. So I will offer my place to the next speaker.
So, it's actually your little buddy, perhaps new squire. He pops up, and he says, I remember some stories about him. My favorite is the one where the Lord of Palanthus ordered him to arrest some adventurer who had shaved the Lord's twin Salamnic poodles. That was my favorite one. But he's been talked his way out of the whole thing by just saying that his daughter was really into him. And if he didn't want him to court his daughter, then he was going to have to relent. And that's how that worked out. And he just kind of like nods at the crowd. They don't really say anything. Except for... you hear like a younger voice. You're not sure if it's like a woman or a young child. You see this blonde kid wearing aristocratic, sort of finer clothing than the rest of the kids around him. And he says, "Oh, you tell it even worse than he did!" And he kind of points and makes fun. Yeah.
This is a little shit of a kid.
Oh, Darren's so stupid. He believes that story. That's stupid. And everyone around him is just kind of like chuckling. They're like, ha ha ha, yeah.
Can I throw a rock at him? Discreetly?
You can do it discreetly or however else you would like.
Definitely discreetly.
Okay.
So
You are certainly very visible. Extremely visible.
I am visible?
You're quite visible. It is daytime and everyone's kind of looking in your direction.
Yeah,
There are a lot of people.
I definitely would like to have returned to the crowd after I stopped speaking. Unless I'm still on center stage.
Okay.
Is everyone still looking at me?
You kind of like find your way into the crowd as Darrett's telling his story about the shaved poodles.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody seems interested.
Okay.
And then as you get in there, you're kind of like shrouded by this crowd and all these people. You want to discreetly try to throw a rock at this child. Roughly 13, 14 years of age. Answer is yes, we can do that. But I would like to make sure first.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely do want to chuck a rock at this kid. He's just got that look about him, you know? I don't like
Roll
it.
either sleight of hand or stealth. Either one would be
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
Roll to hit.
Damn.
Chuck a rock at this brat.
It's discreet.
Why is this kid laughing and smiling at a freaking funeral? What a dick.
Right. Bad manners, kid.
So here's how I look at it. A mage in a robe is probably going to have an AC of about 10. This is a 13-year-old child in fine clothes. His AC is far lower. Okay, give me 1 second. We're going to do something wacky. Roll a D100 for me.
Oh my god. Where is this gonna go? 22.
Okay. You hurl this rock at this child. But you do it in a way that nobody really notices. You just kind of flick it. And as you do, you hit him square in the fucking face, right on the nose. And you can hear. It's not that far away, but you can hear a... And you can see nothing but blood gushing from his nose. And then everyone is just kind of like, what the fuck? And Garrett, like, he's pale. He's turning pale. And everyone just stares at this child who is no longer smiling and laughing, but is now holding his face, screaming in terror as he begins to run away.
Damn.
No parents come rushing forward to help him. He's totally on his own.
That was
Nobody cares
perhaps
who near.
not
I mean,
very
he was
kindly
on his
of me.
own when he decided to step up and talk
Right.
mess.
You fuck around and find out, dude.
He did. Oh my god.
Right, so that kid is running away, screaming his head off.
I didn't even have to cast fear on him. Awesome.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
So that's something that happened. Okay. So at this point, Garrett kind of like goes back into the crowd as well. Nobody else really says anything or does anything. They're just kind of standing around looking at this point, and they just saw this tiny child run away with this bloody nose. Is there anything else you guys would like to do before it concludes? Any final words? Anything you want to say to the crowd, perhaps?
What do y'all think?
I mean, I don't think there's really anything else I want to do at the funeral other than paying the respects, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'll just
Okay.
bear witness to the rest of the funeral.
Yeah, that's.
You-
I did
Charlie?
my thing. I'm just trying to stay out of the way.
Okay.
Although we should probably let Tarla... Wait.
What?
I mean,
Oh yeah,
we
no.
should probably let Tarla in on the plan of, like, what... You know, with the propaganda and the lying to the people, because this may have taken... I don't know if he was, like, with us with this or, like, working with Dead.
Yeah,
I don't know if he
was
would've-
working with the dead at the time.
Yeah, so he wasn't privy to this, so... Other than filling in Tarlin on what transpired with the mayor...
You like to do that in character, or just kind of film it?
I mean,
We
I
should
did
do
get.
that
I
in
did
character.
hear the announcement.
Well, true,
the
but you may
mayor.
not have known... I mean, you may have known why, but, like, I don't know. That just feels like information that the group would
Yeah.
need to know.
I mean,
There you
that's
Would Tarlin
I-
not
I-
have heard
the-
the announcement if the mayor was like,
That's what I'm
that guy
saying.
over there, Tarlin? Like, these
that's
two
what I'm
and-
saying is, I definitely heard the announcement. Is what I was saying. So
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. So I mean, I would have been there to hear it, but like, I'm sure in the time between what I was doing there and the funeral, I would have talked to you guys about it. I'm sure. Been like, so we're talking to them about this, and you're like, yeah, we totally did, and like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Dragons, really?
We're telling them
We'll
about
say
the
this.
boogeyman.
Let's say this. So the words have been spoken. At this point, the work is being done, and now it's time to light these rafts of flame and cast them out. And Tarlin, Aethelford, and Calixto, you all three find yourself side by side watching these funeral rites. The rafts are being lit by several of the town militia and guard, and that's where you find yourselves as the smoke billows.
I think we just got ourselves the keys to this here city.
It sure seems that way.
Seems that way.
We really are short-handed.
By the way, I would have been wearing my white robes to this. To this.
For me.
So.
Okay.
So you're
I don't know
wearing
if
your
anyone
white
would-
robes.
I don't know if anyone would have, if that would have stood out to anybody, as far as me wearing white.
I think
robes.
everything about you guys did.
That's fair.
Hmm.
We're quite heralded.
Okay.
Okay. So is there anything else you guys would like to do?
Not with the
I think-
funeral.
No.
What would you guys like to do?
Do you want to deck out that, the slinger, Aethelflid? Do you know what you want to do to it?
I was gonna try to have Thane work on that, or the gnome guy,
Hmm.
while I work with the docs.
Okay. So you've given instructions to Thane.
Mm-hmm. I would have had like blueprints too, and further yet, since she's an artificer, she would have built one of her little like magical tinkering things where it's like a voice recorder, and would have recorded like probably even step-by-step instruction of this is what this is how you make it, this is how you assemble it, like, and given that to Thane as well, or the gnome.
Okay.
That way he can
So as
represent-
you're doing that, Untamed Siren. So we've got these boats going off in the distance. We've got Untamed Siren playing a new song for the first time in like 30 minutes.
Yay.
And there's an air of hope. These people are looking at you like you're heroes, and you've really done very, very little. But they're looking at you guys like you're heroes, and like you might be the saviors of this village, this city, this town, perhaps
100%.
even all of Anson. So you've given these instructions to Thane. You were focused, quite frankly, on the dogs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you recognize that the best way to attack and escape would most likely be via water. So you are doing everything you can to improve the dock area and fortify that. Calixto, what are you doing right now? And Carlin, think about what you're doing as well.
Yeah, I
Do a
may.
vibe check out.
Yeah. I'll give some thought to what I'm up to right now. I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay. Carlin?
I would be stopping by the both Iron Smile and Becklin to talk to them after the funeral, just to make sure they were doing okay, because I know these losses affected them the most.
Okay. So you're talking to Becklin and Cuttle?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
I'll
so
go with Tarlin.
you go up to Becklin and Cuttle, who are quite frankly distraught, but they're starting to buy into the hype, whether or not they're gaslighting themselves, TBD. But they certainly seem to be in better spirits, and you get the impression that it is because of the three of you. Would like to say.
I'm
I
glad
mean,
to
we
see
did
both.
bring change.
I am happy to see both of you doing as best you can, considering the circumstances.
Becklin looks at you and says, Thank you. I don't know exactly what it is about the three of you, but I can tell that there's something special. And I would ask you, could you find those who did this?
That is my intention.
We'll do our utmost.
Bring back their heads.
Alright, I didn't hear that.
Bring back their heads.
She says, bring back their heads.
Tarlin seems kind of awkward and at a loss for words. For once, it was like, well, these creatures don't leave remains. It's very strange. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's as I said. Unfortunately, they melt away. Or burn.
So there are basically a couple of things she lays out for you. One is they have captured the captain or general, high-ranking dude, like one of the number 3 in command of Cudgel's gang, who wasn't murdered somehow, some way. He is around in the city. There is also the campsite of the mercenaries themselves. But both of them look you up and down and say, please, we must know who did this. There is Grigoris. Perhaps he knows something. And then there's also the campsite itself. There must be some trace somewhere of something.
Who is Grigoris?
He is one of my... This is Kato. He is one of my most trusted advisors, and he's in this city, just kind of chilling in a room, because I'm not sure I trust him.
Why wouldn't you trust him if he's one of your advisors?
Because he's alive.
What do you think, Tarlin?
Perhaps speaking with him will give us some information that we might need.
Perhaps.
We may have seen something, if not wasn't directly involved in it.
I'm wary of venturing too far from the city at a time like this. If he's nearby, it might be worth asking him. And you know nothing else about the attack that you can assist us with the investigation with? I say to her.
No. We've come up completely dry. We have no angles, we have no leads. All we can do is cart away the dead. The three of you. I have faith that the three of you can pull something off.
We'll do our best. Although the city and its safety does come first.
They both nod at you.
No.
Sorry, I cut out. I didn't catch that.
Perhaps we should find this fellow. You said he was being kept here in town?
Yeah, he's Then she kind of indicates like a nearby house. He's being kept over there.
Has he spoken to anybody?
Well, we asked him some questions and we were satisfied with the answers, but if you have anything that you can think of, by all means, please ask away.
What did you hear from him?
That he was looking for food in the woods, he came back and everyone was dead. We have no reason not to believe him.
Does
And
he
yet
have
you
any
still
motive?
remain suspicious of him.
What was that?
I said, and yet you still seem to remain suspicious of him, as he was the only survivor.
Does he have any motive for wanting the others dead?
If he does, I don't know anything about it. We have no reason to believe that he's done anything wrong. And, maybe it's wishful thinking. She kind of looks at Cudgel, and Cudgel kind of looks back at her. She's like, but I think everything he's saying is true, but for now, we're just kind of keeping him, just in a place that we know about, just to be safe.
Has anyone gone back to the scene to investigate it?
Cudgel went. She didn't see anything that stood out to her, but, she's not always the most observant, and they kind of exchange looks.
What does that mean?
It means that perhaps we should give the battlefield a bit of a survey.
Very well. I'm happy to take a look with you, Tarlin.
Me as well.
Okay, so you have a handful of options. You can go interrogate this dude. You can go to a library. You can do research. You could go investigate the crime scene. Or, if there's something else you guys could think of, maybe I can pull that off.
The crime scene is about an hour outside of town, right?
That'd be correct.
But I think with the new knowledge, going to the crime scene might be the best because it's still the origin, and I think it would have the most clues to push us in the direction that we need to go. Like, we can still go to the library to look for stuff, but at least, like, maybe now we'll know what to look for, or maybe it'll be different clues.
I'm just worried that if anything does happen, it'll take us an hour to get back.
Well, we can always leave somebody and split the party, I guess.
True. I could stay behind.
Like, I have an investigation of +6. So we could always send, like, 1 or 2 people, or whoever has the highest, or something.
Okay.
I gotta... Let me see.
I could stay behind and just run some errands around town. There are a couple odds and ends I'd like to pick up and look into.
Ethelfled, we both have the same investigation, so...
Yeah, between the two of us, we should find something, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're fine with letting Calixto stay behind, because they... Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you can... Yeah, if we recruit more militia, I think that'd be a good idea, too, or something. But...
Okay. I could definitely...
You want to stay behind?
The town guard and what's available.
Okay.
Okay. So Calixto staying behind. And then Ethelfled and Tarlin, you guys are advancing towards the crime scene, is that correct?
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. We don't have to.
I agree.
Then yes, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Calixto's gonna run errands in town and check out the guard, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I know I can't hear, but like, damn.
Well, I'd say you guys can do anything you want. So it sounds like it would make sense if both of you have great intelligence to go check out the crime scene. And then Calixto would make sense for you to stick around. So it does make some sense. And you would assume Jesse may or may not be in town for the next session. Who knows? But that's where we're at. If you guys want to do that, I'm totally down. I can make that work.
I think that's what I would like to do.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Let's go.
Okay. So, let me find a little map. So, Aethelflaed and...
Oh no, there's no map. Quick, MS Paint, go.
Right? This is probably fine. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's a really good map.
That's a recycled map.
Yes, it is.
So you guys
I
are
wasn't
there.
gonna say anything. I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's recycled. That's okay. We're gonna roll with it. Oh, they're also draconians. Okay, maybe not this map. Hold on. How about this map?
There's so many dudes. No.
Okay. Okay, we'll roll with this one. So, you two find yourselves heading towards the crime scene, which is probably about an hour away. And about 15 minutes in, you guys are just walking down the road. If you want to just put your tokens down.
Oh yeah, I should
Right,
do that,
put
shouldn't
them
I?
down.
Where? Oh. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys are on a road.
we're on
There
a
you go.
road.
What are you guys doing as you're going down this road?
I'm gonna kind of speculate on this. I was like having. Oh, let me. Okay, I didn't roll this while I was treating the bodies, and I should have. I should have rolled investigation while I was taking care of the bodies. I'm so sorry.
Or
Because I just wanted to see. I wanted to make note of the wounds that I was seeing, just to see if I was seeing like if multiple of these soldiers were killed the same way or not, or if it was just like like random slashes at them, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
did you roll that? So you rolled a 16. So you're
I rolled a
looking
16.
for particular wounds.
Like if they're all
Okay.
slashing or like, yeah. It's a good
You
call.
rolled a 16 investigation.
This
So
would
you've
have
been
been
investigating the bodies of the mercenaries as you're tending to your work, and you roll a 16 investigation. Is that how that's going
Yes.
down?
yes.
Ooh,
So
I
this
like
would have been
So
that was another motive for my treating of the dead, was to try and see if I can figure out what happened to these guys.
So you notice a couple of things. So there are no wounds, there are no punctures, there are no fractures, nothing of that sort on any of these bodies. All 50 of them exact same. Good health, except they're a little veiny. Nothing else. That's all you got. But you did notice that like the veins are kind of protruding in every single one of these guys. But No punctures, no fractures, no signs of trauma in any way, no burns, no sores.
Hmm.
So like it just looks like they just mysteriously died. Just like dead.
All right. I know. So we just burned all those bodies, right? I know that happened.
Right.
Um.
Yep. Out to sea.
Yeah. See, if the veins had been protruding, I would have wanted to very surreptitiously try to puncture one of the veins and see what happens. Basically, if it free bleeds, the heart's still beating. If it's trickling, they're not. If it's basically just, yeah.
Roll medicine.
That's
Seems
my
very Dr. Quinn
Yeah.
medicine woman right there.
that is very much so.
Whoa! Okay.
Holy crap!
So you notice that this blood is more viscous than it should be.
Okay.
It's clumpier blood than what you would expect it to be based off of your medical experience.
Okay, this is gonna sound like a weird question. Are the eyes bloodshot on almost all of them?
I would say with a
Like-
22 medicine and a 16 investigation, maybe it's more subtle than what most people would be able to detect, but you do notice veininess in the eyes as well.
Okay. Okay. So that
What does
to
that
me
mean?
that means breathed in poison, inhaled poison for a bunch of them, which killed them all. They all basically died choking to death.
Reasonable conclusion.
Okay. Fun. Not fun. Sorry. Oh, that sounds terrible to deal with. Okay. I would be sharing basically those conclusions with Tosh as we're on the road. I wouldn't have told anybody else. I would have told, if we'd have gotten a moment alone, I'd have told Callisto this, but I would be telling Aethelflaed as we're traveling all the things I'd noticed about the bodies and whatnot, all the similarities, all my findings.
How would Aethelflaed feel about that?
Well, first of all, she would probably have this like moment of respect for him because she's a lady of profession and she respects when like people can do their job and do it well, and it's like she sees that like he obviously like pays attention and is doing stuff. So like she feels like this feeling of respect for him, like okay, like again, like he's not just talk, like this is what he's found, and it's like it sounds reasonable. And so I guess in her brain, she just starts thinking, like, and she'll say out loud, vocalize, like, that's interesting. So, what, like a cloud or gas or something? Or you think maybe they all drank something, or like, and then, we could use this to our advantage in the war. I could create a machine to release all these poisons into the air. Oh, interesting. And then she's gonna take out a notebook and start scribbling down ideas. Weapons. Yeah, it's essentially like pollute
You
the
do
air.
see Tarlin frown a bit at the mention of weapons, basically weapons of mass destruction, and he's just kind of like that.
But we could use this for pollination too, and seed scattering. It's just an idea. And then she's gonna
Yeah. Innovation breeds all type of creativity. I cannot fault you for that.
And I bet you know how to build this.
That being said, so what can deal such death on a massive scale like this?
Well, if they're all drinking from the same keg, they could all be poisoned that way. Well, Bravo,
It's
do you think
true.
it's inhaled, this poison?
That seems to. That's what I would believe. It hit their bloodstream.
So what, they could have ingested it, they could have touched it, breathed it
But
in.
if they had ingested, they would have all died at different times. It would have been staggered out. Those inhaled poisons will act faster. If these men all died at once, as it seems to be, then this was something very powerful.
Can I do like a history check or something to like look back in the past at like maybe methods that were used from war or like discoveries of plants or just something that where it's like I don't know, anything that would have acted similarly of like something that like a
I would like
release gas or
to.
Yeah,
something.
medicine, nature.
I would like to make an
I can see
Arcana
that.
check for magical things that I would think of.
Okay.
Mine might be more broad,
Sure.
yeah, just because it's history, but
Well,
if it was like
I feel like Arcana would cover like dragons, that kind of thing. If that were the type of thing that I would think of, I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see. Okay, roll. I'll take it.
So you feel confident that this is of a more holistic nature. It feels organic. So you don't think it's by magical means with that 15 Arcana.
Okay, I'll take that.
Would nature be more appropriate, you think?
Either one. You could do medicine, you could do nature, and if you can make a case, you can do anything.
We'll do some nature.
That's a good nature roll. That's a good one.
So as Tarlin is describing this like extra coagulated blood, you have heard of a specific type of poison that acts as a blood clot machine. And you do believe that you've heard stories where if people were to snort it or inhale it or drink it, perhaps that poison could be present if somebody had coagulated blood. So you're kind of thinking like maybe I've heard about something like that before.
You know, it sounds similar to this one poison I've heard of, and then she'll explain the story and the effects and whatever.
And then Tarlin, you think that tracks, I would assume, because you do believe that it's not of a magical nature. You think it's more organic, and then Aethelflaed's like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of something that kind of does that. So y'all are on board that perhaps there's poison, right?
Maybe.
Could be. Signs are pointing that way.
You're supposed to say yes.
Okay. So how do you guys feel about going forward?
Oh,
How do you
I'm
feel
so
about
sorry. I just realized I was muted. Oh my god. I was sitting here talking like, can y'all not hear me? I was muted. Oh my god. So yeah, Tarlin is listening to Aethelflaed, and he just kind of just very seriously just, if this is the case, who would stand to gain the most from this?
Well, somebody that doesn't want this town in the way, I suppose. Or wants it for themselves. We would have to understand the politics of this city better, or this village better.
Politics have eluded me. why I. Well, he kind of smiles a little bit, and he's like, "This is why I talk to the people I do." And he's talking, talking about the dead folks.
Okay. I'll visit the mayor when we get back. See what I can find out about our natural enemies.
Let's see what else we can find up ahead. But if the bodies were removed, whatever may have killed these men was already gone by then. So again, let's check the camp, see what we can find.
Roll a perception check. Both.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm terrible at those. Oh, weird. I'm not. Oh yeah, because I took wisdom because I have cleric spells. That's right.
I did not do well.
Absolutely good.
I did okay.
Okay. Okay, you guys are walking down a road.
Yeah.
Have the scene.
Road.
Fucking great, yeah.
That's all you know.
Road.
Okay. Is there anything else
right.
you guys would like to do in this little moment, or would you like to proceed further towards the crime scene?
Rhyme scene. Let's go.
Okay.
Hey kids, want to see a dead body? Sorry.
So as you are walking towards the crime scene, you hear the clanking of armor from within the trees.
Oh. All right. Identify yourself. I'll shout out into the.
The clanking stops.
Oh, you just gave us away.
Well,
someone the clanking starts getting closer, and it starts getting closer, and then you can hear more metal, and then you see 3 familiar faces.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And that's where we're gonna leave off.
Okay, that's good. That's a good stopping point.
These guys, right?
Oh,
It's
you.
Team Rocket.
Which one's Meowth?
Ketherick Thorn.
The old guy?
The old one kind of.
Yeah.
He does look like Ketherick. Oh my god. He just needs the hands on his shoulders, and he'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Good
they're-
sesh,
Good
good
session,
sesh.
man. Good shit.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
super-
that was awesome.
Poison. Intrigue. And these guys.
Let's get RP.
Very good RP. Now go ahead and pause it here.
Having done very little, somehow inspired this whole fucking city with great rolls and wonderful RP. And you talked Becklin into embracing all 3 of you as these like new heralded champions, dead set on protecting the city. And you've offered to take this huge burden off of her shoulders. She proclaims to everyone, hey, these guys are the real deal. You guys talk to Mayor Raven.
We're heroes.
You convinced Mayor Raven to just say, like, yeah, I guess it's probably the weird dragon creepy dudes. And she's like, yo, these motherfuckers, they said it's weird dragon creepy dudes, and they're gonna bring us their heads. And you guys were like, we kind of can't. And she's like, I guess.
Bring me something.
And then, you guys have the funeral. Calixto relates an amazing tale about wrestling a bear and nearly getting mauled by a bear, and Ismond Greenshields bouncing in and being like, not today. and saved Calixto Carlias from Bear Maul. And then Darrett has this kind of whack story that he's sharing, but he's like, he's sharing it and he's happy. And then this shitty little kid is like, hey, it sounds worse when you tell it than when he tells it. And he's disrespecting. And Calixto said, not today. And fucking threw a rock, smashed this kid in the fucking skull. He's bleeding everywhere and just runs away, and nobody knows it was Calixto Carlias. That was a good one. You guys continuously get praised. Darrett is all over y'all, and he's somehow weaseled his way into the friend group, and he's just doing everything he can for you guys, and very fucking well. And then you basically figured out that there was some sort of poison involved after you got conditioned to, like, go investigate, figure it out. Gregorius is in the city, Calixto's hanging back, y'all are on a trail, and then these old homies who have some beef with you, and you guys have some beef with them. Team Rocket fucking shows up, and they're like, hey. And that's basically the sesh. Did I leave anything out?
No, that's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was it.
That was it, right? That was a great sesh, guys.
That was a great session, man.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, everybody.
Everybody. That was a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, good job, everybody. This was awesome.